active, intense discussion. Out of 5 political parties that have been elected into the parliament, we've invited them to meet at the Lime clock at 3 o'clock and choose one of the types of transport to travel here. We offered Toyota Prius, that was called one of the most green transports available at the moment. You had the opportunity to come here by train, public transport, bicycle. Bicycle was also one of the options, or walk. So, dear politicians, I must first and foremost say that out of 5 politicians, only 3 have reached us. The leading party, or the one that has to form the coalition, the Unity, has not come, and we didn't have any representative appointed to come here. There is a party which will be in the opposition, the Party for Good Latvia, and the representative Mārtiņš Zemītis was one to first respond when we asked him to come here. He said he's going to use his private bicycle. He said, yeah, I'll come, and he was very energetic, but in the end you'd see nobody here. 3 parties have nevertheless reached us, and it's Armāns Strass from the Saskaņas Centre, Armāns Līdaka from the Farmers Party, and Everything for Latvia for the independence. So 2 of them have green in their name. And Mr. Čilinskis has been actively working in the Ministry of Environment, so he's also very well known as a green activist. And thank you very much for nominating, thank your parties for nominating you to such discussion, and that you are the most competent of all. And we have talked about many aspects here. So first of all, let me ask, which of the transport mode you chose to reach us, and why did you choose it, and which of the alternatives do you support, and whether what you did today is something that the public should follow, because you are our role examples, and you can start if you wish. Well, I came by trolley bus, but I was a bit disappointed because I had to also walk 15-20 minutes, because the trolley bus 19, although it brings, according to Rīgas satiksmes, closer to Turība, is not correct. But why did I choose the public transport? I chose the public transport because I'm for the first time in Turība, and when you have to go to an unknown place where you have not been before, the public transport is the safest transport mode, which will never carry you in the opposite direction. And you have chosen that because you're living in Mežparas and there is good public transport. Yes, I'm living in Brasa, and on evenings I'm in the zoo, and during the day I'm working in the center. So the tram number 11 is my main mode of transportation, and I don't know exactly how it costs. It is something. It's 19 lats something for the whole month, and yes, I can. Tram number 11 gets me anywhere, and I have the transport card. Do you have the weekly card? It's not the weekly. Oh, it's not weekly or monthly. For the 20 lads, yes, and it's quite used and it's quite worn out. Yes, now we have seen your card. Mr. Strass, you chose which transport mode? I came by hybrid car. Was it nice? Yes, it was nice. I already suspected that the trolley bus will stop at the stops only, so I didn't expect it to come directly to Turība, as the previous speaker mentioned. If I would come by bicycle, I would probably see the same fate as Mārtiņš Zemītis, who has disappeared, as you see. He has probably lost somewhere. And together with Mr. Čilinskis, we shared the Toyota Prius, and we had a very nice driver who explained us all the technical details about the Prius. So are you going to buy Prius? Well, it seems so. It seems so. Did you take anybody along the road, the hitchhikers? Well, you had 3 places, you should have taken the hitchhikers. Well, I must agree that the Toyota dealership helped us with this experiment. It was not a simple Toyota Prius, so they sent a special Toyota Prius for politicians, because they knew that the politicians had to be driven here, so no hitchhikers were allowed. Why did you choose that? Because it is in fashion right now? No, not only that, but because I also looked into the internet, the information about the Prius, and it was really impressive because the fuel consumption was below 5 liters in the city, and it was very impressive and has to be supported to the maximum. And I know that there are also similar possibilities for other class cars, and everybody can choose a nice hybrid car which is green, environmentally friendly, and become a role example. So yes, thank you for being a role example to us. Yes, you were in the same car with your colleague, Mr. Zelenskis. Did you join the colleague because you liked the colleague, or were there other reasons? Well, I had sort of the same idea. I've never driven hybrid cars, so it was interesting for me to find out how does it feel to be in a hybrid car, so it would be unwise for me to not experience that. And although I don't have the intent to buy a car in the nearest future, I mean the price in the nearest future, we must nevertheless think of the ways how to introduce these cars and how to switch to electromobiles in the nearest future or in the coming years. So probably use them at least for the public administration needs to drive around politicians. On a daily basis I use the public transport, and I can also show you the card that I need. So like in court I can provide the evidence of that. And I came to previous discussion in Ieelpa by train, which is probably the most convenient way of getting here. However, it goes very rarely, but well, frequently enough, nevertheless. And last but not least, the reason why I did not choose the bicycle, which I prefer the most, as I go to my summer house, or go from my summer house to seaside, must admit that I don't use the bicycle in Riga because I don't feel safe on Riga streets. Okay, that's good. One question that was written in your invitation letter, and thank you once again for coming. Almost 50% of the 5 people invited are here, so our party is okay. So the party invitation asked you what are the green deeds that you are going to do under the condition of you becoming the main ruling party. So what are you going to do in order to provide for economic growth, the so-called famous green jobs? So what are you going to do about green jobs and environmentally friendly economic sectors? And are there any crazy green ideas that you would have? Any crazy ideas to put Latvia in the headlines of all the newspapers we have heard today, like in Denmark, Poland and Germany, they are doing this and that. Are there any examples about Latvia that we could, spread around the globe and say, Latvians have done that? What would be the craziest, wildest green idea? Well, I think that Latvia have all the possibilities to become the greenest economy in Latvia. We just need to have the political will for that. We already have the renewables share in our energy balance, which is quite significant. And we have made a political statement that by 2020 we might reach 100% use of renewables. In which year? 2025? 15 years from now we would turn to green energy with no fossil fuels. But Swedes promised to do that in 2020 or 2025. I don't remember exactly when Swedes promised that, so you're trying to beat Swedes? Well, yes, the political aim was to become, the ones about whom the whole world wonders. But the steps and the roadmap presumes to reduce the use of natural gas by 3 times, increase the use of biomass by 2 times, reduce by 3 times the emissions of CO2. And all that to be done by substituting these resources with local resources that are underdeployed at the moment. And only recently we are starting to believe that we have these energy resources, because for a long time we were thinking that we don't have any energy resources. Okay, these statements are fine, it's been written in your political program and everybody can read that if they wish. In the pre-election program it all was written, but nobody reads these programs after the elections, of course. But practical work, practical deed, what will you do in order to make these statements true and fulfill them? So what would the government or the country do? Well, what concerns consumption, we should reduce the consumption or replace the heat insulation. That would create additional 30,000 of jobs. And which list is Schlesser's? Well, you're talking like Schlesser's, I've mistaken you for another politician.